Someone recently dumped their trash in front of my shop. Let's make something out of it, shall we? Let's first track the bench inside, and then we'll search for some proper wood in my attic. I remember from back when I crafted a grave ornament that I still had a big slab of Douglas fir somewhere. Ah, that's where you were hiding. Nice. The slab is rather big and not great to handle on my sliding table saw. This is why I decided to trim it to rough lengths using my track saw. After that was done, I went over to my jointer and flattened one side to prepare the boards for resawing. Then it was off to doing some bandsaw work and listening to the sweet sounds of a struggling, screeching bandsaw cutting through resin-infested softwood. Beautiful. That was terrible! That was not nice. My bandsaw didn't like that. I think it's just a Douglas fir in and of itself. It doesn't like to resaw Douglas fir or sword in general. I always have such a hard time sawing it on the bandsaw. I don't know why that is. Let me know down there in the comments if you got any idea. Never mind. We got the first part done. Let's trim it to size, rip it, and then let's glue it up. And also, I need to reattach this part. Goddamn branches. Always so annoying. After that, I repeated the same process for the rest of the stock. Last but not least, we plane all blanks down to the same thickness. And now that the lumber is roughly prepared for further processing, I began to work on the backrest, which is gonna be just 2 of the wider boards glued together. For the glue up we need 1 straight side per board, and my sliding table saw made quick work of that, no jointer needed whatsoever. The glue up was really simple. I just had to make sure that the faces were aligned properly. I also fixed some of the cracks with wood glue and some fine sanding dust from my shop bag. Then it was time to disassemble the original bench, which was kind of a struggle to be honest. I will keep the hardware for later, no need to throw it away or replace it if it's still fine. Then we rough sand all boards with an 80 grit. I also noticed some more cracks and slight imperfections, which I filled up with transparent C8 glue and accelerator. Next, I prepared the boards for the area where the butt will rest in the future. The process was completely similar to the backrest processing, so you can just sit back and watch for a few seconds. Once done, I proceeded to mostly finish off the backrest by first dimensioning it. Chamfering all edges on my router table.
Wow guys, I gotta tell ya, this piece of Douglas fir is the worst piece of shit I have ever worked with. Never had such a stupid garbage piece of wood in my shop. It's terrible, it's breaking off everywhere. It has cracks everywhere, it has branches everywhere which are trying to break out. Had to fix so much stuff with C8 glue. But for some odd reason I can still manage to make something out of it. It's actually turning out rather nicely. In normal case you don't want to have those branches in here. They are hard as frick, your machines don't like them. It's way harder than the rest of the other wood, meaning the wood movement outside plays a big role. But for some reason I was able to resaw them and lay them out such that it looks like there are feathers in here. Look at that. They just look like birds' feathers, and I think that's quite a beautiful touch. And I've never seen something like this before. It's rather unique. Here's the branch, and this is the part where I have resawn it. So here you see the saw line, and it looks like a feather. It's blending in there really nicely. Same thing here. And on the other piece that I have for the bottom, it's aligned even more perfectly. I didn't see this alignment previously, but look at that. It's like a feather. That is really cool. I think that's a cool detail, and it's going to make this piece into something signature, I would say. Yeah, this is really cool, even though the wood is absolute top garbage, and stuff like this is the reason why I never work with softwoods in a normal case, apart from construction. But other than that, never softwoods. They just suck dick. Yeah, let us continue and let's finish this one off. Let's sand it a bit further and everything, and then we can screw the holes in here, drill the holes, I'm terribly sorry, and then we can try to test screw it to the bench.
And once it was all sanded all the way up to 320 grit, including a small but very effective water pop. I then covered the whole board in its first layer of weather and UV-proof boat lacquer. While that was drying, I shifted my attention to the seat area. The small leg rest at the front will sit on the metal frame at an angle, which I measured using my little digital helper. And after some simple trigonometry, I calculated the angle for the cut being at 100 degrees, which I then cut on my table saw. I can see that my mathematics studies are good for something. That is nice, right? perfect fit. Nice. Before the glue up I had to chamfer everything already, since that wouldn't have been an easy feat once everything was fixed together at an angle. The glue up sucked, honestly speaking, and I was too lazy to prepare some sacrificial pieces that would make clamping easier for me. So instead of using clamps, I resorted to my trusty C8 glue to hold everything in place while my wood glue was curing. Next day rolled around and I got to sanding the seat. The angle section was harder to reach, so I used my Arbo tag and its sanding attachment to get rid of the remaining C8 glue. I still had a piece of Douglas fir left and I thought I might add it to the downside for more strength. Douglas fir is rather soft and I wanted to prevent the bench from bowing over time. I played with the thought of attaching it using long splines as joinery to add even more strength, but I guess just gluing it to the back will be sufficient and strong enough to withstand the test of time and basically any wood movement that you get on the outside. Next day rolled around and all that was really left was to prepare the seat for finishing it. At first I chamfered the support piece with my hand plane. And then, once again, I sanded the whole work up to a 320 grit. My client also wanted an engraving on the piece, so I quickly got it done using my X-Tool D1 that I recently received from X-Tool. Before applying a second coat of finish to the backrest, I sanded down the wood fibers that stood up after absorbing the first coat with a 320 grit to get a smooth surface after applying the second one. The holes in the rests are still missing, so I marked their respective positions down and then went over to my drill press to make some very funny drill press action. That was a hard one. Was not easy to deal with this long and very heavy piece on the drill press all by myself. Then I quickly tested if all fit well and accurately. And once confirmed, I countersunk the holes for better looks. Let's enter the finish line, literally. First we lacquer. Then we sand down the first coat. And last but not least, apply the second coat. And just like that, the bench was already done and ready to be put together. Well, that didn't even turn out that bad, right? Even though the wood was absolute trash. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe, and up until the next video, I wish you guys a flammable day. See ya!